United States of America is the third largest country in the world, both in terms of population and land size. It has the world's greatest economy, with products, companies, sports, and entertainment that are known worldwide.
Penny, penny, penny.
The United States began as 13 British colonies, with colonists settling the New World looking for economic and religious opportunity. In 1776, the 13 colonies declared their independence from Great Britain. The colonists, led by George Washington, surprised the world by defeating Britain, and in 1789, George Washington was elected the first president under the United States' new Constitution. From there, the country grew rapidly, and so did its opportunities and the issues it had to deal with. The largest issue that the United States faced was the issue of slavery. In 1861, Abraham Lincoln was elected president, and the southern states quickly seceded from the Union.
77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure.
The Civil War fought between the North and South was the bloodiest war in U.S. history. The Union defeated the Southern Rebellion, and slavery was outlawed. In the following decades, the U.S. continued rapidly growing to the West, aided by the development of technologies such as the railroad and later the automobile. After years of struggle, women won the right to vote in 1920. The stock market crash of 1929 shattered America's economy, sending it into the Great Depression that would last for a decade. Meanwhile, Hitler rose to power and took over much of Europe, while the United States remained on the sideline. President Franklin Roosevelt hoped to keep the United States out of the war, but when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, he had no choice.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
Suddenly, the U.S. was at war across the Atlantic and across the Pacific. Certain advantages such as women in the workforce and new technology helped the U.S. and its allies defeat Germany and Japan. But the real game changer was the U.S. development of the atomic bomb.
A short time ago, an American airplane dropped one bomb on Hiroshima and destroyed its usefulness to the enemy. That bomb has more power than 20,000 tons of TNT.
With its victory, the United States found themselves as the world's new superpower. Life seemed to be perfect, and they sought out new challenges.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
But life wasn't perfect for all Americans. Racial segregation and other civil rights issues plagued the country.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
The 1960s brought great triumph.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
But it also brought great tragedy.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., civil rights leader and Nobel Prize winner, was shot and killed tonight in Memphis, Tennessee.
The 1970s brought more war, while the 1980s and 90s promised more technology.
Those who think getting a car phone is not for them, whatever the reason, haven't kept up with the booming industry of cellular radio telephones.
A friend of mine told me, try America Online. I said, why? I've got a computer. With America Online, you can point and click your way across the internet. And their web browser makes it easy to explore the World Wide Web. Call the toll-free number and you'll receive your free startup kit and 10 free hours to look around.
In 2001, tragedy struck the United States once again.
This nation stands with the good people of New York City and New Jersey and Connecticut as we mourn the loss of thousands of our citizens. I can hear you! I can hear you, the rest of the world hears you, and the people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
Let us renew our determination, our courage, and our strength, and let us renew our faith and our hope. We have every right to dream heroic dreams. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look.
There is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America. There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America. There's the United States of America.
It knows no sectional boundaries or ethnic and racial divisions, and it crosses political party lines. It is made up of men and women who raise our food, patrol our streets, man our mines and factories, teach our children, keep our homes, and heal us when we're sick. Professionals, industrialists, shopkeepers, clerks, cabbies, and truck drivers. They are, in short, we the people.
The story of generations of people who felt the lash of bondage, the shame of servitude, the sting of segregation, but who kept on striving and hoping and doing what needed to be done so that today I wake up every morning in a house that was built by slaves. And I watch my daughters, two beautiful, intelligent black young women, playing with their dogs on the White House lawn.
It is time for us to realize that we're too great a nation to limit ourselves to small dreams. We're not, as some would have us believe, doomed to an inevitable decline. I do not believe in a fate that will fall on us no matter what we do. We can and will resolve the problems which now confront us. And after all, why shouldn't we believe that? We are Americans.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.